Geronimo Jack is back after the absolute banger we saw in the last game, the finals of BFC5. I am here with none other than the EU Warrior. It's Tang. How you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, after that first game, a bit exhausted, but definitely hyped for the second one. Honestly, like the treat we got to watch before definitely didn't let me down whatsoever.
Yeah, 10 minutes of playing chicken in a Primal Fangtooth fight will probably do that for you. But the way that game ended, just complete insanity, absolute gong show. We got some real highlights for the entire predecessor community to that. Do you think anything can be done differently to try and come back and get that 1-1 on the board?
I mean, like, if we rewatch this game, like, this game was, like, on a knife's edge for, like, the entirety of this game, right? Like, even at the end, I didn't count them out for a second. So, honestly, like, I don't even think it was a draft issue. I don't think it was, like, a sort of insane player gap, whatever. I think it's just, like, how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Sometimes it is sort of the white line of the cocaine leading them to victory, as it was in this one.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's Soul Reapers reaping all of the souls, right? So I think, honestly, going into the game, I don't think they need to be disheartened. I think they have all the tools in their kits to win the game. I think for both teams, like, they definitely showed what they can do in the previous game.
And we are hearing just on the back end, a few people were watching Soul Reaper stream as that game happened. And apparently we had commented that Soul Reaper just ended up in the pit. He blinked forward. But what ended up actually happening, he didn't intend to blink forward, apparently, according to what he said. His keybinds are a little different from standard and everyone else's, as he's a traditional smite player, and he managed to fat finger his way into the prime pit, ultimately leading to how the game went through. But it happens to the best of us, and he is one of the best of us. So hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think in the words of Soul Reaper, I think what we can say there is skill issue, little bot, or little noob, or whatever, little bot. There we go. Skill issue. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It is what it is. I think he has another game to redeem himself, so I don't think he needs to be worried, especially after getting the solo volley at the beginning of the game as well. I don't think he was the issue. I think he knows that as well, and I think he is going to be mad the most about that himself.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're trying not to BM or say anything bad here, but I guess when you don't get to say skill issue to Soul Reaper very often, so Tank's taking the chance while he can, clearly, and we're ready to get the draft going for the next game. Interesting draft picks. We've seen Delusional Ninja's team. Delusional Ninja has picked Muriel on all the games we've seen today, but there was a phase ban. So maybe they actually banned the Muriel out because she's playing that champion very, very well, and that could be the key to victory.
Yeah, it could be. And also, like, we've seen so many support bans. We see it again, right? Narbish was banned before. As you mentioned, FaZe was banned, but it was also another support banned. Let me think about it. Which one was it? It
was FaZe and Decker, I believe, were banned.
And Decker, right. Decker was also banned, right? So a lot of focus on the support picks in this one. Gonna see how it happens this time. Again, similar bans. Narbish, Kai bans.
And an interesting pick on the Kai ban, because clearly Chicken's done a lot of work on the Grux, especially in the early game, absolutely dominating through, making D-Mob kind of question his decisions. Ultimately speaking, D-Mob was able to pull through and keep himself relevant in that game, especially through the Coliseum Tesla Dome combination. We are seeing that Grux first pick. So I would risk the Chimera to take away the Grux personally, because Grux just is the same champion, but with more CC.
And we just saw him go 10-2, right? Like, they did end up dropping the game, but Grux did put on a monster carry performance, especially at the beginning. But it is both teams deciding to completely run it back. It is the Grux pickup. It is the Sarah's Kira pickup. So it's the exactly same picks as in the first game. So definitely both teams don't think it was a draft issue. Both teams think that they have the advantage in that one. So they say, let's just run it back in this one as well.
And they are going to, exactly like you said, pick all of the same champions here. It's going to be Argus this time on Delusional Ninja's team, maybe changing up the gadget for something that has a little more early game focus. Kwong to follow that one up as well. I believe taking that away from Ritterriffic's team. Interesting to see how they answer on that. Maybe something a little more off meta, or maybe just another frontliner.
Yeah, definitely. Could be both. We also don't know where the Argus is going to go to. That could go support or mid. Now we see the Steel being picked up, another sort of flex pick that can be flexed into 3 roles. Now we see bans being started up again. I think with the Nabash ban, with the Kai ban. I think there's a lot of picks still open to be banned, but it is the Drongo being banned away from Ritterriffic. Does not want to give that over again as they did in the previous game.
And having the Drongo on Black Tornado seemed to work out for the team. Drongo having a lot of utility, probably the highest utility carry in the game at this time, able to peel away with an unstoppable ultimate, kind of knocking himself back, as well as just the damage from rad rounds and the utility of the Geg grenade, which does max HP damage against large targets like Prime and Fangtooth.
Now Gadget being banned away. It was a pretty good pick for them. Boinks did pilot her pretty well. Now Bellica being picked up is gonna mean that could go into the mid lane. It could go into the support role. It's honestly kind of depends where the Argus is gonna go. I would presume Bellica does have quite a decent matchup into the Argus, can just hide behind her drone, make sure to dodge out on all of those small ticks that Argus deals. It's DlusionalNinja's turn. They have to decide where they actually want to go with. The X Grim is going to be locked in, so is the Murdoch. So it's actually going to be the Grim, most likely in the mid lane. Argus support Murdoch, ADC, and the Grux again in the jungle with Crying Off.
So the Fridge is in the game on the patch he was designed for. Lots of very interesting Grim builds coming through. Maybe we might see a couple of them. A lot of options. Plasma Blade, an item designed for that character. You can even take things like Earthshaker. Big Cat has a YouTube video most likely coming out. He went 20-5 in my game the other day. He was building Augment and he was building Earthshaker on basically just Bruiser Grim. The damage that guy was doing was beyond disgusting. So it'll be interesting to see how people build Grim in the finals of this event. And the last pick coming through is actually going to be FaZe for Ritterriffic's team.
Yeah, FaZe being picked up. This time it was not banned. And looking at the enemy team comp, what does it help you with? It helps you getting away from the Argus, from the Grux. It helps you sort of enable that Kira that kind of carried the last game. I don't think we mentioned it enough, but Kira had 6 items when the rest of the members only had 5. Was given a few mini primes as well at the beginning to make sure that she is able to carry, and that she definitely did. Now, having a dedicated support in that phase is going to allow her to do the same thing, or at least attempt to do the same thing this time.
I liked the Richter pick last time on Ritter. It'll be interesting to see how FaZe and Bellica change the dynamic of largely the exact same team comp all around. Bellica is something Boinks is very familiar with on piloting, so she doesn't need the gadget to be functional. I think Bellica is kind of like one of her mainstay heroes that she's known for way before gadget was one of her kind of main picks. Seeing that come through will be interesting because there's a lot of high mana to output and a lot of way to sap the other champions in the team that are easily deplete mana. Grux has a short mana pool.
Yeah, definitely does. One thing, Jack, I just remembered is last BFC, which I had the pleasure to also be part of. We also had a similar draft with the FaZe being picked up as a last pick, and we were like, okay, they didn't really need it. They already had the Bellica support, and then suddenly we saw the FaZe run into the mid lane instead, and we did have the top hero pop off on the FaZe mid. This time, hopefully, this is not going to happen. Spoiler alert, they did not end up winning that match.
I was going to ask. I was like, did he cook? Yeah, I feel like he cooked.
Yeah, it definitely did cook, but it was not edible after all. So yeah, definitely hoping that FaZe is going to be in the support role, and the Bellica, as you mentioned, on Boinks, that is definitely very proficient on that hero.
All right, we've stared at the draft screen too long. It's finally time to get the next game going of the BFC. It's the finals. Game 2, Ritterriffic versus DlusionalNinja. We have some very, very well-known players in this community and some not as recognizable players who are how do you think the game's gonna go? How do you think it's gonna differ, Tang?
Honestly, I think both teams are going to play with so much more confidence in this game. I think in the first one, it's a bit of nerve still persisting, right? It's the grand finals, it's the first game. And now they see, okay, the guy opposite of me, like, he is very beatable, right? Like, it doesn't matter which side we look at it from. I think Soul Reaper and Black Tornado, DlusionalNinja, Chicken, Seeknix, they're all going to think, we should have won the previous game. It was in our hands. We are going to show them this time. And it is the side of Ritterriffic just having to show them that it was not a fluke. It was calm. It was cool, calm, and collected. It was the win deserved for them.
Yeah, and I think what the biggest wild card in this game is going to be is Ninja on the Argus. Having played Muriel primarily through our stream today, pretty much the only character through the stream today, changing from a very peel and shield oriented support to a control mage that's dedicated in the mid lane primarily is a very big change in playstyle.
It definitely is, and I think it's a very needed sort of adaptation in terms of comp, because they don't really have any hard CC anywhere else, right? Especially on ranged. It's maybe only the Quang tether that can actually catch somebody out, but Argus does have the same ability, and he does it really, really well if you can pilot it proficiently.
And in the off lane, we are seeing a bit of a lane swap, as this time it's Cocaine on the Steel and Seeknix on the Quang, seeing if they can flip things around. They are hitting each other. It seems like Seeknix has the advantage right now in the early game. Quang's such a great early game duelist. On the side lane, Chicken up to his old tricks, possibly positioning himself for a gank against Boinks, who is rocking that wonderful new legendary skin.
Yeah, with the new sort of abilities as well, or at least visual effects on those abilities. Offlane though, fighting.
It's going to be Cocaine running down and punching Seeknix in the side of the head. He wants the win for this game, and he's going to do what he can to get that early game pressure off. Quang on the back foot at this time, throwing the tether out to apply a little bit of damage, not a whole lot, nothing super meaningful, as both players are going to use their health pots to get themselves back up. As Seeknix with a little bit of a health advantage as they look to posture and fight for that level 3. The Steel passive going to save himself from the Quang damage. The tether goes out. He does manage to secure it just enough, but it's not enough for him to live or him to die, as Cocaine does manage to back and get himself up to snuff.
And I think the wave is actually slow pushing into him, so it's not the worst back. It might be the Cyan sort of secured by the Quang if he plays well with that wave. But otherwise, if Quang doesn't respect it, he might be in a bad spot, frozen in front of Steel's tower. Boinkster in the mid lane is getting bullied by Soul Reaper. Grim, really strong in those isolated 1v1s. Boinks having no mana left anymore in the mid lane means that she would need one of those rivers, but 3 minutes 24, no rivers to be claimed. Demob though in the mid lane
is going to come up and push Soul Reaper off the objective. Boinks, no health, little mana, looking for the knockup on the Grim. The Fridge is in trouble as he blinks forward. Boinks there to follow up. Chicken now to try and help out. Is able to secure the kill on the Grim. They are trading the mid laners 1-for-1, but now it's the junglers with the smash and grab onto Demob as they both blink forward and try to get away. It's not enough. Double Pain comes through. 2-to-1 trade to start this game off at 4 minutes.
A bit of a weird fight. I think Saros could have just flashed onto the mid lane, onto Soul Reaper to secure that kill. Instead, it's Bellica, and Grux is happy with that. Gets 2 kills, exchanges blinks with the Saros eventually anyways, but it obviously heavily favors Chicken again. 2 kills in the pockets of the Grux, and we saw in the previous game what he can do with that lead.
Yeah, and just this game is probably going to be a very explosive one, as we saw Soul Reaper's team doing such a great job throughout, kind of dominating that game, and then having it flip around in the end and having it taken away from them. They're going to show up with a vengeance. They want to just get the game on the board and, bring this to victory.
Yeah, definitely do. As we see the Cyan buff being contested by both, but Quang does pick that one up. Steel not really in a position to actually go all in, trying to secure that one. 4 minutes 56 means Rivers are about to spawn chicken. It's gonna take the left one, the right one. So Reaper does have the ward on it, so is most likely gonna be claimed by him as well. Boinks just kind of having to sit back at the beginning. That's kind of what we were expecting as well with the Bellica pick, especially with the jungler already being this ahead. Usually you wanna fight with those 2v2s, but with Grux having 2 picks, it's gonna be hard. So Reaper no there.
Is now going to go for the engage. The steal is getting knocked around by the displacement bomb. Kwang throwing the tether out. It's not going to land, but D-Mob now looking to rotate in for a counter gank himself. He's deciding to back off and position himself for the 5 camp instead. Bellica freezing the wave in the mid lane. Not a whole lot answering going on here. They're just kind of keeping themselves safe, keeping themselves at their tower line, allowing the orange team to create the positioning that they need and giving them a little more pressure. But it could be Boinks in the mid lane. There's the displacement bomb pushing forward. Nocta comes through, but she doesn't realize that the smash and grab on the Grux is around the corner. There is the GTFO. Get off my screen. It's Soul Reaper to pick up the kill.
And so clean played. Like, they know Bellica doesn't have the blink from the earlier play, and it's Chicken just waiting around the corner, knowing what's up, knowing there's no counterplay, especially once she uses the seismic assault on that Grim, that she is just there to be picked up for him for free. So that's another kill over into Soul Reaper's pockets this time. So that mid jungle duo is looking very dangerous again. But again, Grim, Grux have a lot of counterplay, especially if we look at the enemy team comp. Grim can use his deflector shield for a lot of abilities, but for example, with that phase, that root is not going to be able to be dodged on. That steel can still dive in. Cure goes in.
And she does actually manage to get the root on the energy lance. It's going to be pulled away. Is Cure as he tried to go for some poke damage on DlusionalNinja, who has no mana, but FaZe saying, no, get back. You've had enough. We need to keep a little safer. We can get another trade in to actually secure that kill. The wave states are very neutral right now, but they're really fighting over for the positive wave state. I think that Cure and Ritterriffic do have the advantage here with the mana pool on Ninja being very, very depleted right now.
Yeah, and we can see it. They do not dare to even go up for those last hits, and the wave is slowly but surely pushing out. It's going to be a slow push into the side of Dusk. So it is going to be one of those moments where Cure can always go in. It's going to get some more damage in.
And that's going to be the crystal dropped and the energy lance in response. Cure taking a lot of damage, walks into the trap. That could be a bit of trouble for him. Chicken now rotating around. He might be in a position to respond, but they are both going to back up. No kills taken there. But in the off lane, it is an actual response as D-Mob sees Soul Reaper. Cocaine walking around the back, looking for a pick. Coliseum goes through as Cocaine dashes in a line forward to get the hit on the ultimate. Gets 2, follows up with his own stun. He's nice and healthy, energized, ready to take down the enemy team. The knockup from the Belka follows through, picks up the kill onto Soul Reaper. He's the first to go down in the fight. Seeknix has to blink away. No mana, no HP, but he is able to get away.
Yeah, and it's Soul Reaper seeking out the Cocaine, but it's in the end, it's the Cocaine finding him instead, and that's the kill secured. It's also on the other side of the map, the Fangtooth with the positive play on the off lane means they still have the numbers advantage on that duo lane. They secure the Fangtooth with that one. So all in all, it's not the worst for the DlusionalNinja. They do lose a member, but instead they get the objective.
Yeah, Soul Reaper looking for that offlaner instead, getting a bit of an overdose, not able to actually transition anything in his favor. There was a Fangtooth taken, as we saw just on the screen. Teams are starting to calm down ever so slightly as the river buff is spawning at 9 minutes. Boinks taking the one on the right side. Soul Reaper hasn't transitioned to the one on the left just yet. Boinks looking to rotate into the right side. He does see Kwang walking towards her direction, and Kwang looking to get a ward off is walking right in there, not going to follow through. Boinks getting away to safety. D-Mob there to cover the mid lane farm in response.
He shall seek, but he shall not find. Yeah, good recall by Bellica. He's not gonna get stopped. So Reaper is gonna have a look into the red side. D-Mob is aware. It's just gonna hide the 2-camp away, but that's gonna take him a bit more time to actually clear this. So Reaper, again, towards that offlane, really doesn't like that steal pick. Is gonna have a bit of a look. Steal 3/4 HP Ceres.
And that's going to be Zaris walking straight into Soul Reaper. D-Mob now having to blink away at half health. There is a big scrap in the off lane. The dual lane kind of just sitting around, twiddling their thumbs as if massive fight breaks out everywhere else. You can call Soul Reaper a bit of an addict with how much he's just running into the off lane to try and pick up cocaine onto the scoreboard. But we finally have the fight break out in the dual lane as Ritterriffic is going to pull Cure away, who then dashes forward, almost landing into the Murdoch trap. He's going to get hit by the shotgun blast, knocked back ever so slightly. He's taking a lot of damage from Argus. The damage transitions through. It's Black Tornado to pick up the kill onto Cure, who needs to blink away is Ritterriffic. And in response to all that, we have an objective take across the map. We can't cover everything that's going on in this game right now. And we're seeing cocaine look to be picked up once again. There is Kwang landing the tether with less than any mana to really transition anything through as the shield slam comes out. There is the Warlord's challenge, not much to follow up. There is a primed up wave to do damage to that tower. Cocaine in a little bit of trouble as the smash and grab comes through. There's a knockup, doing whatever he can to get those bleed stacks off, and he should probably back off. I don't know, there's a lot happening. Now there's a fight going on in the mid lane. I'll let you handle this one, Dang.
Yeah, definitely. I think the big difference now in the mid lane, it is the Soul Reaper having to blink away Colosseum used by D-Mob. But yeah, the entire fight before, it is a losing dual lane fight that was actually initiated by the Kira dashing in. And then also on the other side of the map, they still lose the mini prime because there actually was no numbers advantage on the left side. It was just a pure 2v2 outmatch. Murdoch and Argus finding the 2v2 kill. Then just more fighting. It is the mini prime secured on the Grux again as the last game. They definitely do want to have Chicken ahead again. Does have a few more kills under his pockets now. As we see the objective leads coming in for them again. Kill lead as well for 2-2. It's honestly Soul Reaper just running around the entirety of the map. We do know he loves chasing the cocaine, but he is also making his look towards that Fangtooth now. Dual lane needs to be careful.
As the energy lance comes out, it's not going to land on anything significant. Boynes has sat under tower for so long now, trying to play the corner to make sure Soul Reaper isn't able to secure the kill. Soul Reaper going to look to position that displacement bomb. Actually managed to land it. Very low health. Boinks not walking away, going to drop the back right there. This is all just a buy time in the dual lane. It's going to be the gold buff focused by the blue team, or the orange team, sorry. As DlusionalNinja and Black Tornado are coming out and they're looking to engage once again. The crystal comes out in the mid lane. We have a fight breaking out once again. It's going to be D-Mob in a bit of trouble as Chicken dashes forward. The tower does go down, but there is Bellica to try and apply a little bit of heal, not enough, as Soul Reaper picks a kill on the Zars. Chicken now running after the cocaine, and he's able to secure the kill, getting a nice fat pickup. And now that mid lane T2 tower in a bit of trouble. GTFO being applied to Boinks is able to do the damage. They are walking back now. The Blicky comes out of the Bellica, not enough to secure the kill. They are going to just trade it out. An amazing pickup. All these fights bring across the map. It's so aggressive, this game.
It's so aggressive, and it's also using that mini prime effectively, getting that tier 1 in the mid lane, the most important tier 1 tower on the map. What we didn't see though in that fight was another 2v2 breaking out on the left hand side of the map, with actually the Dusk team coming out ahead at 2-for-1. So it was the Kira going down, but getting the Murdoch and the Argus in response. So it's not all bad, but it's definitely looking good for the side of DlusionalNinja at the moment. Now Fangtooth has been started up. D-Mob and Kira are in the pits. They should be able to secure this with no contest, but the question is, can they get out?
And they are able to walk out. There was phase with the energy lance to dissuade the Kwang from going any further. 14 minutes and 4 seconds in this game right now. It really does seem like Soul Reaper's team is in the driver's seat, which is what we saw last game. It's really up to D-Mob and the rest of his team to try and react accordingly. He's looking to get a gank off in the dual lane, but the Murdoch traps are there to stop him from going any further. Now sitting around the corner, positioning, posturing. We should see both junglers come through and possibly look for another pick. And now walking into sweep whatever vision he can to get the right position in favor of that positive gank. And it's going to be just a little bit of a scuffle, nothing super crazy. they are going to back off, and maybe we'll see something break out here.
And we see Chicken a bit of an item difference compared to last game. We did see him build the Bonesaw before. Now he goes into tank a bit earlier, knows he is sort of the main front line, even with Kwang, especially with Kwang stuck on the side lane against the Steel. It is getting chased by Soul Reaper again, making the rotation. It's really hard to lock the Steel down. So he should be able to just walk away, uses the shield slap.
Oh, and then he goes in, and it's actually managed to get deflector shielded by Soul Reaper, who's going to force the blink out of the Steel under his own tower, but it's not going to really transition to anything major. It's very, very comical with how much Soul Reaper is actually just running down the off lane, jokes aside. There is now D-Mob going in with the Coliseum. They're able to pick up a kill on to DlusionalNinja, who has to blink at the last second, but the damage goes through anyway, burning the blink and securing the kill. Wicked value lost out of that Argus.
Yeah, and it's also that the Colosseum, even though he blinked outside, you would think, okay, there's no Colosseum stack for him, but as long as the Sarah stays inside of the Colosseum himself, he's still gonna collect that stack. Now Cocaine is getting jumped at by Sneak, so is Chicken. Everybody loves him.
Everyone loves Cocaine this game as Chicken burns the Warlord's challenge. D-Mob there to try and help him out. Might not be enough. Soul Reaper's joining the fight as well. Everyone wants a piece of that offlaner, their own special little line on. And he blinks forward. It's going to be Boinks picking up a kill on the other side of the map. The GTFO goes through onto the Steel. It's not going to actually transition to anything major. There's a lot of tower diving going on. Both teams very aggressive, very hard to keep track of what's going on as we see the T1 tower get pushed down by the very low HP dual lane that is Ritter and Cure. They're able to secure it, but now DlusionalNinja has very little health. Energy Lance going through, going to land the root. Cure following up with her own ultimate and is able to secure the kill despite being Dread Nova just before it goes through.
Wow. Okay, tier 1 secured, so is another 2 carries with the ADC being picked up before as well. It's traded out for the mini prem. It's always tit for tat. It's not one team gets an advantage on the other side and the other team is sleeping. It's always a good trade, but Jack, what I have to mention now is like 7-7. The kill score looks awfully similar now with a big lead from before. Now it's going to be a collapse.
And there is Steel going to stop the smite from Chicken, but he does manage to get it, and he managed to blink away. D-Mob following up with the Coliseum over the wall, is able to pick up the kill, although Grux is able to buy himself a little bit of time. Soul Reaper now walking in the side. He's walking straight into the enemy team, who should be able to get that kill. It's Seeknix following up to try and play some peel. It won't be enough, as they are able to take down that mid laner. DlusionalNinja on the side with the big ultimate on Argus, trying to do what they can to try and stop. And now they're looking to take down that T1 in the mid lane. It is non-stop action at 18 minutes in this game. Seeknix backing up now as the enemy team pushes forward to try and get that minion wave under that T2 tower. Fang 2 spawning, that's the next big fight we need to look for.
Yeah, they not only get the mid tier 1, but they also get the offline tier 1 with Steel securing that one. As we have a bit of a look at items, we see Soul Reaper definitely not going the AP build, but instead going damage with the Stormbreaker and the Tainted Blade, just giving him a bit more magical on-hit damage, and then also a bit more lifesteal, which he is gonna need, especially with that Sarah's just jumping on him every one of these fights. But the big question is that gonna be enough? And I think that that question is gonna be answered any second now, with that Fangtooth kind of looking to be a fight.
The team already has broken out in fights. There is a great knocking up coming from the Belkin. They're going to dash forward right into the enemy team. Soul Reaper has to back up as they do secure a kill on Chicken. The flash forward from Kira to pick up a kill on Soul Reaper, and then Ritterriffic just applying a little bit of a pullout as they do manage to back up for the Fangtooth. That's going to be another objective on the board. This game was in favor of Chicken and the rest of his team, but now it's swinging back as they are able to secure a kill on to secure a Fangtooth onto the blue team. Seeknix now running down, looking to get another whiff of that offlaner.
Oh, no. Not
able to secure it. No white line on that stat board, on that scoreboard. He's going to back off and get himself a cyan buff.
Yeah, he seeked. He still hasn't found it though. Like, the white line is as elusive as it has been the entire game. Just honestly, I don't know what it is with that steal, but like, he is just sort of the pressure point of the enemy team, and they just really want him, but he is not giving it to them at all. He's just always a bit further away than they think. So definitely well played by him. Also gets the blink out of the Quang. That's pretty big actually, especially now that the big prime has spawned. We do see before though in that fight, we did see mid lane and jungle, the two sort of heroes that were ahead before, so Reaper and Chicken, getting caught out there. And that's definitely not what we want to see, especially if we want to have a third game, because they are supposed to be the carries of this game, especially with how the early games went. But with the lockdown from Ritterriffic's team, really hard for them now. They're looking towards the blue side jungle. Cure in the front line has the face to back him up, does know that he is safe, but Zaraz is looking.
And Zaris is walking forward despite the vision being there. They're going right into the enemy team as the Coliseum breaks through on Soul Reaper once again. You're picking up the kill there. Cocaine dashing forward into the Grux and is able to help his team. Once again, Cure picking another kill. Cocaine now going with a big ultimate into the inhibitor. That is 3, a triple kill for the Kira. This could spell disaster for the enemy team, as that is a very, very chunky girl now.
And it's so well played by them again. It's the dual lane linking up with the jungler, having the hard CC from the Zaris. They know no blink on Grim means he is just so free for them to take. Bit of a hopeful ultimate there by Black Tornado, trying to steal away the prime, but it is not gonna happen here. Maybe with a lucky basic. Doesn't connect though. It's gonna be the prime secured for Ritter's team.
And Black Tornado doing whatever he can to try and get the damage off, maybe get the lucky pick. There is a Ninja following up as well. They are looking to get a couple more minions. We haven't seen a lot of presence from the Murdoch this game outside of the dual lane, whereas Cure and the rest of his team are kind of just running around the map and picking up kills. The score is now 14-7, and this is a break point where it could start really snowballing out of control.
Yeah, especially now with that prime being picked up, there's always the question what they actually do with that one. It should be the target should be those tier 2s, maybe even inhibs if they are fast enough. We see them push on the left lane, go for the mid and the right lane as well. So they want to play on 3 lanes at the same time. Grux is in a bad spot though.
And he does manage to get caught out and breaking the Warlord's challenge to apply a bit of stun off, but it's not going to be enough as D-Mob's going to use the spear to skewer through the heart of that Grux, having a little bit of roasted chicken for dinner. And now Soul Reaper is going to go down. The fridge is out. Cure picking up yet another kill for his team. 16-7 now, 2 down. On the other side of the map, it is Cocaine once again, just running down the T2. This is the point where I believe the snowballing is going to go out of control.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much money in their pockets. Cocaine just gets the tier 2 for free on the left-hand side. You can see Kira, Zaris, and FaZe again linking up as 3. Still the ult up on Zaris. They need to be careful.
And the Dread Nova does go out and apply a bit of stun. Crystal is there to follow up as well. Cure getting pulled away from the kill at the last second because Kwang was there to try and maybe get a pick out. They are bringing the minions under the inhib tower as the Iceborne Talons goes through. D-Mob jumping onto the Argus with the Coliseum to secure his own kill and get a stack up. Chicken taking the jump pad in a very precarious situation, but in the meantime is able to bring the minion tower under the inhibitor. And because the T2 was still up, that does just burn extra time. At the same time, it goes down, and there's minions now already under, allowing Cure to just take that inhib very easy in the mid lane. They are looking at pushing down the core for 24 minutes, maybe get that early game lead. Boink's picking a kill on Soul Reaper as Chicken is going to try and crux his way through. It's not going to be enough. Another kill for Cure, 20-7 in the off lane. There is the last inhib. This could be the very last fight of the game. It's all up to the Murdoch, the Argus, and the Kwang as Cure dashes forward, is going to get himself a little bit of damage with that large pistol, and it's going to be Sickness now dropping down as well. Another one to Cure, and that's the end of the game. It's going to be 2-0 at 24 minutes.